When looking rich matters more than being rich. The person stepping out of a brand new BMW might have less than $50 sitting in their checking account. That designer handbag your coworker proudly shows off during lunch might cost more than her entire emergency fund. The guy at the bar talking loudly about his investment portfolio might actually have more credit card debt than investments. And the influencer posting photos of luxury vacations and expensive restaurants might secretly be several months behind on rent. It sounds extreme, but this situation is becoming more common than most people realize. A recent study found that nearly half of Americans with credit cards carry a balance month after month. At the same time, luxury car sales continue to rise. Designer brands keep reporting record profits, and social media is filled with people displaying lifestyles that look incredibly wealthy. Something about this combination doesn't quite make sense. Americans now owe over $1.28 trillion in credit card debt. The average household carries more than $100,000 in total debt, yet parking lots are still full of luxury cars. Shopping malls are still packed with designer bags, and Instagram feeds are still overflowing with people presenting glamorous lifestyles. What we're witnessing is something economists and psychologists are starting to notice everywhere: the rise of what many people now call fake rich. Fake rich doesn't necessarily mean someone is poor. It means someone has learned how to look wealthy without actually building wealth. They've mastered the appearance of success while building very little underneath. From the outside, everything looks impressive, but when you look closer, the illusion begins to fall apart. Because real wealth usually whispers, fake wealth screams. Once you recognize the signs, you'll start seeing this pattern everywhere. And more importantly, you'll understand how to avoid falling into the same trap. Let's take a look at some of the most common signs that someone might be pretending to be rich. Sign 1. The entry-level luxury trap. One of the clearest signs is what could be called the entry-level luxury trap. This happens when someone buys the cheapest possible version of the most expensive brand they can find. The base model BMW, the entry-level Mercedes, the starter Louis Vuitton bag, the lowest-priced Gucci belt. The goal isn't the product itself, the goal is the logo. Walk through almost any office parking lot and you'll notice it. Luxury cars with minimal features, basic interiors, small engines. These products exist because manufacturers understand something about human psychology. Many buyers care less about the actual experience of the car and more about the badge on the hood. But here's the irony. A fully loaded Honda Accord often costs roughly the same as a base model luxury sedan, and the Honda usually comes with more technology, greater reliability, and much lower long-term costs. But the status-focused buyer doesn't want that. They want the symbol. They want people to notice the logo, and that symbol can be extremely expensive. Luxury vehicles bring luxury insurance, luxury repair costs, premium fuel, and much higher maintenance bills. Over time, the difference becomes enormous. Someone pretending to be wealthy might spend 20 to 30% of their income maintaining the appearance of wealth. Someone who is actually wealthy might spend 2 to 5%. Over decades, that difference can easily turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars that were never invested. The fake rich buy the symbol first and hope wealth follows later. Real wealth usually does the opposite. Sign 2. Constant money talk. Another common sign is constant conversation about money. Some people seem unable to go more than a few minutes without mentioning income, investments, or business deals. Every topic somehow circles back to their financial success. You mention a vacation. Suddenly, they explain their spending strategy and how much they earn in travel rewards. You talk about work. They pivot to a huge deal they claim is about to close. Notice something interesting. The money they talk about almost always exists in the future. I'm about to close a huge deal. This investment is about to explode. Next year, everything changes. Real wealth tends to speak in the present tense. Fake wealth often lives in the future tense. because the future is easier to exaggerate. Sign 3. Designer items over savings. Another sign appears when luxury purchases come before financial stability. Someone might carry a $5,000 designer bag while having only $2,000 saved, or wear a luxury watch while carrying thousands in credit card debt. There's a simple rule many financially responsible people follow. If you can't afford to buy something twice, you probably can't afford it. When a single purchase equals months of income, it's not wealth, it's financial risk disguised as status. That designer bag might impress someone for 3 seconds, but an empty savings account can create stress that lasts for years. Real wealth rarely sacrifices long-term security for short-term attention. Sign 4. The constant one-upper. Another pattern to watch for is the constant one-upper. Whatever you've done, they've done something bigger. Whatever you bought, theirs is more expensive. Whatever you accomplished, their story somehow sounds more impressive. You share good news. They immediately shift the conversation back to themselves. This behavior rarely comes from confidence. It usually comes from insecurity. People who are genuinely secure about their success don't feel the need to dominate every conversation. They can celebrate other people's achievements without feeling threatened. Sign 5. Social media as a performance. Social media has amplified fake wealth more than anything else. Online platforms reward appearances. Luxury photos get engagement. Expensive purchases get attention. Saving money rarely goes viral. This creates a powerful incentive. People learn that projecting wealth generates validation, even if the wealth itself isn't real. The lifestyle becomes a performance. Vacations become photo shoots. Purchases become content. Meanwhile, many truly wealthy individuals maintain surprisingly quiet online lives because they don't need strangers validating their success. Sign 6. The endless luxury lease. Leasing luxury cars has become another common pattern. Leasing allows someone to drive a car they might not actually afford to buy, but there's a hidden cost. They're paying for the vehicle's fastest depreciation years without building ownership. 3 years later, the car goes back to the dealer, and the cycle begins again. Lease, return, lease again. Over decades, someone could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and still own nothing at the end. Sign 7. Counterfeit status. Another sign is counterfeit luxury goods, fake designer bags, fake watches, fake logos. Ironically, these items aren't always cheap. A counterfeit bag might cost a few $100s. For that same price, someone could buy a high-quality item from a smaller brand. But the fake rich aren't buying quality. They're buying recognition. They want the logo, not the craftsmanship. Conclusion. Real wealth whispers. At the deepest level, the difference between fake wealth and real wealth is surprisingly simple. The fake rich optimize for appearance. The truly wealthy optimize for freedom. Real wealth doesn't need to be loud. It grows quietly. It compounds quietly. And eventually it creates something far more valuable than status. Options. The freedom to make choices without financial pressure. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to actually become rich. And those two paths rarely lead to the same destination.